MIA had always loved photography. For her, capturing moments on film was like bottling time, preserving fragments of life forever. She loved using her old analog camera, an heirloom passed down from her grandfather. Digital photography lacked the soul of film, she always said. One rainy afternoon, while browsing a flea market in search of vintage lenses, she came across an unmarked roll of film sitting in a dusty box. It was old, the label faded and peeling, but curiosity got the better of her. She bought it for $1, eager to see what memories it held. Back home, she locked herself in her makeshift darkroom and began developing the roll. As the images emerged, she was surprised to see how crisp they were despite the age of the film. The first few photos were ordinary, landscapes of a quiet countryside, a rundown barn, an empty dirt road. Then things got strange. One image showed a house. It was a small, weathered building with peeling paint and boarded-up windows. Something about it made MIA uneasy, though she couldn't say why. The next photo was of a room inside the house. A living room with threadbare furniture, a broken lamp, and a fireplace filled with ash. But the image felt wrong. The shadows were too deep, and she thought she saw a figure standing just beyond the edge of the frame. As she continued developing the photos, her unease grew. The images became darker, more sinister. One showed a narrow hallway with doors on either side. At the far end, a tall, shadowy figure stood, its face blurred but unmistakably watching. Another showed a staircase, and at the bottom, the same figure crouched low, as if waiting for something, or someone. The final image stopped her cold. It was of her. She was standing in her darkroom, her back to the camera. The details were exact. Her hair tied in a messy bun, the same striped shirt she was wearing now, even the faint smudge of developer on her sleeve. Her hands trembled as she stared at the photo. She hadn't taken this picture. She was alone in the house. A loud crash jolted her from her thoughts. The sound came from the living room. MIA grabbed a flashlight and crept toward the noise. The house was silent, save for the faint patter of rain against the windows. In the living room, she found her camera lying on the floor, its lens shattered. It had been on the shelf moments ago. She picked it up, her heart pounding. Then she saw it, another roll of film, sitting where the camera had fallen. She hadn't loaded it. Despite her fear, curiosity got the better of her. She returned to the darkroom and developed the new roll. The first photo made her stomach drop. It was her living room, taken just minutes ago. The shattered camera lay on the floor, exactly as she had found it. The next photo was of her darkroom. The door was slightly ajar, and a shadow loomed just beyond the threshold. The third photo showed her sitting at the developing table, staring at the film, her face pale and terrified. But it was the fourth photo that made her drop the roll entirely. It showed her standing in the hallway, flashlight in hand, staring directly at the camera. But behind her, the shadowy figure loomed, its blurred face inches from her own. MIA bolted from the darkroom, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She grabbed her phone to call for help, but the screen lit up with a new photo notification. It was of her front door, wide open. Rain poured in, pooling on the hardwood floor. She ran to the door, slamming it shut and locking it. But when she turned around, the house was different. The furniture was gone, replaced by the threadbare couch and broken lamp she had seen in the photos. The walls were peeling, the air thick with dust. MIA backed away, her mind racing. Somehow, she was inside the house from the photographs. The shadows began to move. They crept along the walls, pooling into corners, forming shapes that grew and twisted unnaturally. The figure emerged from the darkness, its face still blurred, its head tilted as if studying her. MIA stumbled back, tripping over the broken lamp. "What do you want?" she screamed. The figure didn't answer. Instead, it raised her camera, and snapped a photo. The flash blinded her for a moment, and when her vision cleared, she was alone. The house was silent again, but something was different. She turned and caught her reflection in a cracked mirror. Her face was blurred, just like the figure's had been. MIA screamed, but no sound came out. Weeks later, the old camera appeared at another flea market, along with an unmarked roll of film. A curious buyer picked it up, intrigued by its vintage charm, and wondered what memories it might hold.
Esse é o DJ Holanda, tá lançando a nova moda.